You're still watching TVC Breakfast. Now back in Lagos, Olamide is standing by to let us know what is trending with Trending Now. Good morning, beautiful. How are you doing?
Good morning again, team. There's a lot to get into. Shall I take it away?
Take it away.
Let's see what everyone's talking about this fine morning. Good morning, Nigeria. As always, like I always say, TVC has a finger on the pulse and our eye on the streets. And here on the Trending Now segment, my team and I do our best on a daily basis to bring you trending stories that are shaping the world that you and I live in. We begin today with this submission, where Senator Natasha is back in the spotlight, and this time not for controversy, but for advocacy. Now, during Monday's plenary, she moved a motion drawing attention to the plight of Nigerian women reportedly held in Libyan prisons, urging the Senate to push for their repatriation. Take a look at this video.
In prisons. This is born out Nigerian women who found themselves in the Libyan prisons, are pregnant, and many have given birth to children who live in the prisons. So I would appreciate the chambers and my colleagues do approve this so that children, innocent children who are of Nigerian heritage do not suffer with their innocent mothers, that they be brought back to Nigeria.
All right. Any seconder? Any seconder? Yes, seconder, the leader of the Senate.
To second the additional prayer as most ably moved by the distinguished Senator Natasha.
Repeat the additional prayer so that people understand.
But it was the chamber's reaction that drew attention. Her motion, as you saw just now, was initially met with silence. No immediate seconder, not even from fellow female senators, because the women stuck in Libya that we're talking about. Well, after a long pause, Senate leader Okpebholo stepped in, saving Natasha's motion from being thrown out. The question now is, as Natasha positions herself as a voice for the vulnerable, the bigger question remains, can she overcome the old political scars and gain full support of her peers and successfully reintegrate into the Nigerian Senate? Let's take a look at social media. Solution says those who kept quiet on matters of such national importance, including even the LP members, are heartless. So a national issue cannot be seconded simply because you don't like the sponsor of the bill? And Path of Justice says these men are utterly despicable, assuming without conceding that they weren't aware that Nigerian women were in Libyan prisons. Shouldn't they have been outraged that such even exists? Where were the female senators to second her? Team, this is very interesting. You know, we all watched the scandal play out, the allegations that were thrown out a few months ago, the back and forth between Senator Natasha and the Senate President Okpebholo. But we never really saw this coming, you know, that she would one day, you know, sit again in the House and present her motions. I wonder what her reintegration will look like in the coming times. And the matter that she brought up, the motion, is of serious importance. You know, she's speaking about Nigerian women stuck in Libyan prisons, and no one seemed to second it. Should they have taken her motion more seriously?
Well, I saw it coming, you know, the way she left, the way she came back, and so on. And during her absence, there would have been alignments and realignments and so on, decisions, and all those under-the-table decisions would have been taken. However, for the motion she moved, it's a very important motion, and it's very close to her because one of the rescued girls, the most recently rescued girl from Libya, is from her constituency. I guess that's why she brought it up. That they didn't second it, and there were sneakers and laughters here and there. I expected it.
Olamide, I didn't expect this, and it's really sad. You know, I know the way she left and the way she came back, but at the end of the day, whatever problem you have with Natasha, do not bring it to the job. She has raised the motion, very important motion. Nigerian women in Libya, some of them even giving birth, and then hearing people laugh and chuckle. It's sad that we take personal issues and we use personal issues to make us not focus on more important things. That's all. I'll just leave it here. But this is quite sad.
Yeah, I see what Senator Natasha is trying to do. Probably bring up a bill which will make people feel, yeah, she's returned to doing her job as a senator. But I tell you, there is a commission that looks into, you know, diaspora issues, which is the NICOM, superintended by Abike Dabiri Eriowa. So most definitely, one thing is, also NAPTIP, I also believe that they will be looking into this matter. The fact that the senators didn't, second a motion doesn't mean that none of them will act upon it. So one thing is there is the Natasha as a person, and there is emotion on the other side. So we should not mix emotions with politics at the end of the day. But then Natasha will have to do a whole lot to struggle to warm herself back into the hearts of our colleagues and indeed so many Nigerians, because they are disappointed in what happened.
You know, but Ibrahim, with what you said, the world is watching. The world saw what they did. Even though they would not take action immediately, they'll take action later. I don't think their reaction was the very best because the world is watching.
As always, team, very interesting perspectives. Thank you so much. I'm going to now second my own motion by going back over there. Moving on into the world of politics, where the governor of Edo State, Monday Okpebholo, has issued a warning to his new commissioners. He says that anyone who doesn't wear the famous Asiwaju cap, the one that is linked to our president, President Bola Tinubu, won't be allowed into executive council meetings. This is what he had to say.
You see this cap? Yes, I will not forgive any commissioner that is not wearing it. In ESCO, if you are not wearing suit and you are wearing traditional dress and you are coming to the ESCO without this Asiwaju cap.
Now, the governor made this clear during the swearing in of 20 new commissioners and board members, saying that the sign is a cap of loyalty that he takes very seriously. Now, Okpebholo also warned against corruption, reminding everyone that these appointments are about serving the people and not personal gain. Let's take a look at social media. Unfortunately, I don't have an Asiwaju cap on. I've got to wear a wig. Raymond says, enforcing the Asiwaju cap at EXCO meetings, he's turning governance into a fashion show of allegiance. Governance should elevate ideas, not enforce dress codes. And Slogan says, you can abuse him as you like, but a man who gets his state into a coastal road when his state is not even a coastal state, more so the road, is now being redesigned to include his state. They play. Team, he turned it into a fashion parade. He said, if your cap is not here. I mean, he did say it very, very playfully, but, you know, some might, not myself, but some might argue that this is psychophancy at its finest, while some might argue that it was said playfully. Either way, I don't think that a cap is the biggest and the best metric of loyalty to the president or to anybody at all. I think there are other things, and maybe his focus should be different. What do you make of this, though?
Well, from the way he said it, I felt that he was joking, you know, but you see, as a governor, almost everything you say, especially in an event like that, is seen as policy. You understand? So if you don't want to wear the Asiwaju cap and you're a commissioner in Edo State, then wear suits. Wear suits. However, he went ahead and told them that he is against corruption and reminding them of their duties. I guess that thing he said about the cap was just a joke.
And looking at the fact that he was speaking to his ESCO members, you know, you could see that maybe he was just trying to joke around it. So I don't really want to say much about this because I have a wig, I cannot wear a hat. So let's just take it like he was joking.
Well, he's the governor. He's only trying to tell his appointees, because of course they are his appointees working for him, you know, on behalf of the people, that this is where my loyalty lies and this is where your loyalty should also be. If you're loyal to me, then you're loyal to the president. These are politicians. They say what they say. But I believe that the issue of the cap or no cap is just like Ashwebi. As they would say in Yoruba, O Wankara, O Jesemo, meaning that if you are not wearing the, what's it called, the Ashwebi, then you are not going to be partake of the semo that will be said.
Then I'll get the hat, so if I eat, I'll wear the hat.
Absolutely, team. And you know, some people might argue that this is metaphorical. He might not have meant the actual hat. He might have meant anybody that doesn't align themselves with the renewed hope agenda and with the focus points of the president should go. So there's many ways to look at this. Thank you for your input. Moving on now, we are going to talk about the presidential pardon that had Nigerians talking. There's been a surprising twist in one of Nigeria's most talked about murder cases. Now, Ahmed Issa Bello, the father of the late Biliaminu Bello, says that he personally sought clemency for Maryam Sanda years before President Bola Tinubu granted her a presidential pardon. Speaking at a press briefing in Abuja, Bello described the decision as the will of God, saying that forgiveness was the only way his family could truly heal. This is what he had to say.
He not seeking for clemency. So it must have taken place since 2019 because of the follow-up. There are some documents that he has submitted, and even today he was the one that applied. He applied to the Attorney General seeking the clemency for his daughter-in-law. We have been in touch, we have been talking.
Now recall that Maryam Sanda was convicted in the year 2020 for killing her husband, Bello, in a domestic dispute that shocked the nation. Her release has since reignited a lot of tough conversations about justice, mercy, and where forgiveness should meet the law. Let's have a look at social media. Dami Esquire says, that's a profound act of forgiveness. Not many can let go of such pain and still choose peace. May God continue to comfort and strengthen his heart. Next Door Engineer had this to say. They said, time has a way of healing by introducing forgiveness. Most times it's the elderly that know this about life. The dead is gone, mistakes happen, but life goes on. And Rotimi Ojo says, this is a beautiful story. Vengeance is mine and I will repay, says the Lord. Now, team, the social media storm that has surrounded this issue of the presidential pardon of Maryam Sanda is no joke at all. The sentiments online are very mixed. But I will say this, we saw this with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, you know, the widow coming out to say, I forgive you. We're seeing this with the case of Bello's father, who's saying, I forgive you. That is a level of depth and forgiveness and enlightenment that not many can meet. He lost his son.
Yes, for Mr. Bello, that was a very difficult thing to do for a lot of people. You know, she killed your son, and you started fighting for her clemency long before the presidential pardon came. It takes a lot of load off you. You've been able to forgive her and forgive her genuinely. But let us look at the society. Is she ready for the society? Are we going to have a repeat of what she did?
You know, Olamide, this story really, really gets to me. I watched this video, you know, on social media, and I was almost moved to tears, you know, just hearing the father saying this, that he has sick for it a long time ago, even before it happened. You remember I said this the other time, that no matter what, the children are still members of the family. So in as much as you can castigate hate, you will still have her in your life because she's already the mother of 2 children. And I love the fact that he said he has forgiven, because when you forgive, there's a certain load that leaves you. But then again, there's still a lot of conversations in the family. People are still saying that, you know, it was the worst form of injustice, that she should not get the clemency. Even in his family, some people are against the fact that, you know, he's saying that he forgave her. When she comes out, I said it the last time, I'm saying it again, I just hope she'll be able, you know, to deal with the she's going to face a lot of things. Now, she has to be mentally strong now to be able to be there for her children. This story is one that, you know, we can go on and on, but I'm just wishing her the best, and I wish the family the best as well.
You know, when we had the story of Maryam Sanda being forgiven, some of us were livid, like, why should that have happened in the first place? But when I saw the father, you know, saying that it is my son that was killed and I'm forgiving her, I think it's an aspect of, because I realize that they are Muslims, it's an aspect of the Sharia law, which actually, you know, considers mercy over, you know, taking retributions and all of that. Because they have 3 options. One, which is known as the diya, seek financial compensation, forgive the killer, or qisas, which means that they can't call for the death of the person, which is the 3 rights that they have, drawn from Quran 4:92, where Allah says that anyone who kills a believer, it is not for a believer to kill a believer except by mistake. And when you do that by mistake, you free a believing slave, you pay blood money, or you fast for 60 days consecutively, meaning that if you fast 59 days, and then you say, I'm tired, I'll fast the remaining one next tomorrow, you'll start all over again. That's for a punishment for someone who killed someone unintentionally. And then 93 now says, anyone who kills a believer intentionally, then that person is wrath. The person is condemned to hell. So the family has forgiven her, because they said that she's now, you know, she has realized her mistakes and all of that, but it is still her, between her and God, our creator, that on the day of recompense, that will now decide, weigh the consequence of her action on this earth. But on this earth, the family has forgiven, which is their right within the Sharia law. Well done.
And, you know, Olamide, quickly, it just teaches us something. You know, when you're in a marriage and it's not working, I think the best thing to do is to leave than for it to end like this. I feel like this story should really teach a lot of people, because we still have people in marriages that you see it's not working, you're trying your best, and at the end of the day, you get to live in a very horrible way. So I just hope it serves as something, you know, to people.
Absolutely, Tim. We've got 1 or 2 minutes to expound on this a little bit. You know, and another angle that I thought of was the fact that, you know, Billy Aminu Bello's father, his grandchildren, you know, are involved in this. Yeah. And it's very possible also that he sees Maryam Sanda as a daughter. You know, culturally, especially in other communities, when you marry, everybody is your child, both your wife, whether it's your biological child or not. And so it's very possible that he does see this woman as his daughter, and the forgiveness was almost like forgiving your own child.
Right. Exactly.
And someone, please expand on this.
Yes, when you hold grudge against somebody, you've closed yourself in. When you forgive the person, you've opened the door. Which would you prefer? You get what I'm saying? I think that explains it.
To err is divine. I mean, to err is human. To forgive is divine. So it's good the family has done that, and I say kudos to them.
Absolutely. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Thank you so much, team.